Good evening. Welcome to Rivalz Race Chat. Clinton, Geoffrey, and Adam Ross here as usual. Welcome to all our hangers on who hang out with us on Tuesday. We appreciate you being here. Adam, how's it going?
It's good, but I don't like the way my top button looked when the cameras came up. It looked fine in the preview, but there. Now I look more relaxed. That's my problem. I'm all right,
Nice.
man. It's February. January is behind us. Not a big fan of January. I can tolerate February because it's shorter. 4 weeks of this, we're into March, and March is race season.
We got the Clash coming up this weekend, and I just got a message from Chaz right now who just said, you all got anything good going on tonight? I'm going to write back, yeah,
Hey, no,
join us.
don't don't write back. We got something good going on every Tuesday. The Chaz, all right.
That's what I mean. That's what
Text
I mean.
us.
We've
Text
always
us at
got stuff going on.
7:59. Yeah,
Actually,
I
I,
shouldn't be
I
like
asked. So we heading to Florida here in the next little bit. So we wanted to figure out. He's always got 5 minutes of fire for us. At least he has the past few times he's joined us. Adam, we're going to invite Chris Lawrence, a bone stock driver here in Ontario, to the show. We're also going to invite Mark Hall, who is representing the Ontario Sportsman Series here tonight. As always, our Burger Barn video of the week. We got some cool G-Force marketing materials we're going to share with everybody who has racing going on. Of course, we'll talk about the Clash, some other stuff, and anything else you find folks want to talk about, let us know. Can I give you one of my pet peeves that's just a team pet peeve here between the three of us?
I wish you would.
Is there anything more frustrating? And maybe you do this, Adam, but in fact, you do. You and Spencer both need a punch where it don't shine. But I'm a guy who uses Facebook Messenger on my phone almost exclusively. I never sign into my laptop, and you guys are forever sending documents through Facebook Messenger. It's frustrating. That's all I got to say.
When was the last time I sent you a document?
I don't know. Spencer,
I
you
sent
just
you
sent me
filthy.
something. This is about you, Spencer. You sent me a document 2 minutes ago when my link didn't work, and you sent it through Facebook. So I had to then log in to Facebook on my computer, somehow send it to my email. What a pain in the ass. Anyways.
I send you filthy memes and funny videos. I don't
Yeah, I
send
try and keep it.
documents.
When I run out of
I
memes, I
don't
just look
read.
for Stratford. Where Brett, I need some ammo. Anyways, that's for another thing. Let's talk about some other stuff going on. It's almost racing season, Adam, and we have a few exciting weeks coming up in front of us. And stick with us over the next couple weeks. There's going to be some cool stuff. The other thing that we don't have on our list, but it just came to me randomly, is Motorama's been moved, so we'll have to get Greg
That
on to
just came
talk
to
about that.
Yeah. That just popped into my mind as well. Strangest thing. April 29th, 30th weekend. So it's definitely a different time of year than it's ever been. But we'll try to build the hype as much as we can to help our friends at Inside Track and make that show great. It's going to be a tough weekend because there's a lot of people already at the racetracks.
Yeah, that was my first concern. I know the dirt tracks that I always hung around, like Ushweekend, we're a bit later. But yeah, I mean, Merrittville gets going in April. So, as does Flamborough and most of the places you and I grew up. So I was a little bit concerned about that. But we'll see how it works out for them. There's nothing happening on the Sunday down there and nothing on the Friday that I'm aware of at that yet. Well, actually, I think it might be practice at a couple of places. So we'll see how that works out. But all the best. Then we'll get Greg on to tell their side of the story and why they had to move it. And we know they were kind of forced in that position. So we'll talk about that. I see Cam and the guys at Stickers and Scuffs are here. And congrats on your good get. I mean, they had Ray Evernham on their show, Adam. So that's a good get for those guys. Solid. Can't wait to see that one. But without further ado, let's bring in our first guest, Adam. Tell us a little bit about Chris Lawrence. He reached out to you to get him on the show. We're going to talk a bit about bone stocks. What do we need to know?
And it was a referral, and it was a great referral. Nicole Stewart, who had participated in Chris's Rent-A-Ride program, and she actually reached out and said, you really should have Chris Lawrence on the show. And he is like a true blue racer. And the Lawrence family is a bunch of racers, so no point in me introducing him. Let's just bring him on, and he can tell us his story, Clinton. Chris Lawrence. And the first thing I want to start with, Chris, is I
Can you hear
have
me there,
never
guys?
seen you. Yeah, we hear you just fine, man. Thanks for being here. But that's a different hat than we've seen you wear all season long. You're representing tonight.
think I'm having a little problem with my mic here.
So I can hear you. Maybe he can't hear us.
Well, there it is. Now I can hear you.
Good stuff.
There we go. So I was talking about your hat because I thought your hat is just the coolest thing. We see you wear it all the time, to Make Delaware Great Again hat.
Oh,
Do you not need to wear it anymore because Delaware is once again great?
no, I've got that set aside. Epic Racewear kind of came on board with us as a new sponsor, so I figured I'd go with their hat. They helped outfit us with some brand new suits, so I still got the hats. I still plan on wearing it around the track. They are doing great things, but I mean, it's going to be a great season there, I think.
I think you're right. So in saying that about Delaware, talk about your background, Chris, your family, where you're from, and how you're involved in racing.
Yeah, so my dad started racing out at Delaware in 1988. Ran street stocks there, and then had a stint in late model. Went back to street stocks. So I spent most of my early childhood playing dinky cars up on the top of the hill. And then I got into the junior racing cars a year after my little brother Joe did. And then we moved up to super stock. We played around a little with the late models. Then I've just kind of found the bone stock to be a little more fitting with the budget now that I'm funding everything myself.
Chris, let's talk a bit about Delaware a bit more. They've made a lot of changes there, and we saw a huge resurgence in Delaware, even a year like COVID. They've gone on to repave the track. They're making all kinds of improvements. How excited is the Delaware contingent about the new ownership partnership that's gone and how it is great again?
Yeah, there really isn't much that they're doing that we're not excited about. The new surface is amazing. It was overdue to a point. I mean, they want to bring in some big shows, and I know those cars like the smooth surface. For a guy like me, I like the character of the track. I run bone stock, so I mean, the surface doesn't really matter to us. But it's good for their premiere shows. I mean, hopefully they can get ISMA back. I know they like a nice smooth surface, and it'll be good for them. And they're expanding some of their top of the hill stuff. I know they're planning some more concerts and stuff like that, which is good just to get people out to the track. Even if it's not to watch racing, I mean, get them out there. They'll see the facility, and then maybe they'll want to come out on a regular race night.
No, and I think that's the key, Chris. Taking advantage of the facility, using it as much as you can, getting people curious. You run a rental program as well with your bone stock. So you race your own car, but you'll also put cars together to rent. What brought that on? It's enough work to maintain one race car and have it ready to go to the track, and you have a flock of them.
Yeah, so I really like racing. I can't seem to not be behind the wheel. But I always kind of had an extra car here or there, and I started putting a lot of my friends and family into it, and just guys that had either raced or just didn't have the ability to race on their own. And then we kind of got talking between me and the wife, and it would be a cool idea to do it. And we ended up having a couple people interested. And it was one of those things that we put the car together and seemed to have a couple different people behind the wheel, and it really worked out well. It is a lot of work, but at the same time, I think it shows this year because we've got at least 2 people that drove our car, or 3 people, I believe, that drove our cars have now bought their own bone stock. I think Delaware's got something like 34, 35 cars and 9 or 10 rookies already this season. So, I mean, the numbers are there, whether it's what we did or just the fact that Delaware's doing a lot of the right things to put people out on the track. I'm just kind of happy to have the option to to work with new drivers. I know as an experienced driver racing in a division, it is entry level, but there's a lot of rookie mistakes that you can avoid. Work with some of these newer drivers and kind of get them up to speed a little bit faster, and it'll make the racing a lot more fun for them.
Chris, what's it cost? Like, for someone who might be interested in it, what's the cost and what's the business plan? Are you doing it? I guess I have a few points to this question. Do you have any open rides? What's it cost per race, and what's the season business plan look for somebody if they're trying to get into something like this?
So what I like to do is just like a basic single race deal or a couple race deal. I have one automatic car that I have registered for the season. We are renting it out for $300 race. And what that is that covers a race ready car at the track. We'll work with you as much as I possibly can. Like I'm still going to be driving myself, but I'd like to focus on that. But at the same time, the way they've done out the schedule and the payouts and the car counts itself, it's really tough to just step away and not drive. So I'll be there. But at the same time, we have 2 cars that we're going to have 2 seats in. And I really like to do the Monday practices out there. So we'll go out with people. I'll take them out in the passenger seat, show them kind of the basic racing line, brake, acceleration, that sort of stuff. And then we'll come in, switch spots. I'll sit in the passenger seat. They'll drive. And we'll kind of give on the fly advice and help. And really just the goal is to bring newer people into the sport. Rookies, I'll work with them that way. And anybody that just kind of wants to try it. The main thing for me is I like the driver to come with their own safety gear. It's a big cost. And I know what I have invested in my safety gear, and I want people to come with what they're comfortable with, just as far as the safety goes. But other than that, we're kind of open to pretty much anybody and everybody. I had people from 14-year-old kid come out and drive, and all the way up to, I believe, a 65-year-old that used to drive mods in the 90s.
Now, Clint, you said yours was a multi-part question, so I don't want to cut you off.
Oh, no, he answered them all. I just actually, while he was giving that answer, I had to go look at the Delaware schedule to see if we could rent these, Adam. Our schedules overlap a lot, but I think it'd be a blast to get out in. But let's talk about that, Adam. Like, you and I have always been about getting new people into the sport. This seems like a perfect program to get them in at $300. That's amazing. You know, it's such a great way to get them involved. Even for someone coming out of karts to try it at the big track, you know?
Yeah. And you can feel it. And that's why, Chris, when it was suggested to me that we reach out to you, I'm like, absolutely. That's the pulse of our sport. And I don't care if you're a bone stock racer, if you're a super modified racer, or late model racer. There are people out there that do good things for the sport, the lifestyle, whatever you want to call it. And I definitely think that's you, right? You're doing great things, and people need to appreciate that. I'm sure the track appreciates it, but it's just great to see the energy you bring. And the bone stock class at Delaware, Clint, I brought it up before. The fans just go nuts for it.
Yeah, I think whenever you can get the car counts the way they need to be, and you know, when you're talking 30, 35 cars and you're battling for the starting positions, I mean, in any division, that makes it super exciting. But that shows how healthy the sport is, especially down at Delaware, Adam, which has such an amazing resurgence. I mean, we got to play a fairly decent role there in our schedule at Delaware this year, and I mean, I love the place. I wish it wasn't on Fridays, or our weekend wasn't on Fridays, and we wouldn't have those problems. Chris, what else do we need to know about your program, or anything else you want to add to the show here that we're maybe missing that you to talk about tonight?
Well, I think we're just gonna have to get you guys out on a Monday to come try out the car. We'll make sure we got a seat that fits you guys, and we'll do some hot laps out at the track. But yeah, no, as far as my program, we've got 4 cars registered this season. We're just planning to go out, make the field. I know Delaware has the ability to start every car that shows up, so I don't think you're going to see a B main or people not start. So my goal this season is to see a 50 car field on a regular Friday night.
They'll sell
I think
tickets.
it's attainable. I think it's doable. But yeah, for sure, we'll take you up on that. And Clint, I think he was talking about you when he said they'll find a seat that fits.
I was laughing. I'm thinking I could probably fit in most of them over there, Bubba. In fact, that
Oh, well,
reminds me,
Chris.
I need to send the video over to Spencer of you actually working from the cockpit of the Canadian Vintage Modified this weekend. Adam, take it away.
Yeah, Chris, thanks for joining us, man. We're going to see you throughout the season, so that'll be exciting. Thanks for taking the time to come and hang out with us. And folks, when you see him at the races, it gives you someone to cheer for because he puts his heart and soul into it. So have a great night, Chris. Good luck in the season, and we'll see you at the races.
Yeah, thanks for having me. You guys have a good night.
Chris Lawrence. And I can't wait to get out to Delaware, Adam. I loved it. We had such a great time there camping at the end of the year. It was just great. And this year, I think we need to force the whole crew to camp with us because it was such a good time. And like he said, going to the concert was a good thing. I got to check that out. It was amazing to see how they put that all together. And definitely new eyes at the Speedway is always good any way you can get them.
There's not enough Purell and Febreze in the world to get Spencer to spend a weekend in an RV.
Hey, we all unwind different ways, right? Yeah, as he swears in our ears. Well, where do you want to go from here? Mark Hall's going to join us soon. We told him, I think I said 8:25 for Mark to come on. So we're a bit ahead of schedule. A couple of comments here. Stephen Kovac says, did you guys ever discuss the amount of SOS races versus KOT crate traveling series this summer? Or did I miss it? This might be a dumb question, but are you providing streaming services for the SOS? Do you want me to jump on that? The quick answer is no, we won't be streaming for the SOS. The KOT will have 10 races aired on GeForce Live, powered by Pinty's, with a point fund put up by Pinty's and some other great partners that we'll be announcing in the coming weeks. The SOS are kind of on their own, KOT's on their own, but we did talk about, we would discuss the math of it. And when the ESS and Patriots used to come to Canada a few years ago, Adam, the dollar was closer. I mean, it was even on par, I think 15 or 20 years ago when we first got in this racing. It wasn't that far off. But, with the gap widening in the past few years, even at our weekend when we booked the Patriots to the ESS, we have a regular great field of 360 cars on a regular Friday, and then you bring in the Patriot Tour of the ESS. When you convert their $12,500 US purse to Canadian, you're paying $15,500, almost $16,000 on some weeks to get a few more cars than you already had with your regular show, which is the same quality caliber. They bring in maybe 4 or 5 superstars, but most of them are the same guys we had. So at the end, everybody switched back to SOS, and then KOT came along when SOS won't do anything. But, SOS is about for $20,000, considerably cheaper. They charge $400 per car per the track. KOT was even cheaper. We were $375, and that's about the math. But the short answer there is no. We won't be streaming the SOS. We will be streaming the KOT. The 10 races there, and 3 of those are the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals, which is awesome. And the other one of those, and the other 2 are part of the Pinty's deal, so that's going to be awesome as well.
I think Dana was trying to set us up there. Can you ask Chris what BT Racing means? I have a feeling there, because Dana is a Delaware person. She's there every week. So I have a feeling she knows what it means. And I have a feeling it's probably not suitable for the internet.
I saw that too. And I thought I wasn't going to step in that cupcake, Miss Morneau, tonight. No, thanks. I'm sure you have to find out when we get off the air. Mark Hall has joined us, though, Adam. We'll bring Mark on now to talk about the Ontario Sportsman Series. It's been around since CASCAR days. It was kind of the stepping stone for CASCAR. And Mark, welcome to the program. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'll give the Coles notes that I know of it anyways. Was a feeder system. Partnered right along with CASCAR through Tony Novotny. Then when NASCAR came in and bought CASCAR away, they didn't really have a need for the series, I guess is the polite way to say it. And the series kind of got cast adrift on its own and has been there for about the last 10 or so years. More than that right now, Adam, you would know. 14 years, maybe? That long?
15 years, yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, Mark, welcome to the program. If I've left anything out, fill us in and let us know what we need to know about the Ontario Sportsman Series going into 2022.
Yeah, Clinton, that's pretty much it. That's the way it is. This will be the 15th season of the series being running around tracks in Ontario. And originally it was a stepping stone to the Pinty series. And we kind of like to see it be that way again. It's a very economical way to go racing, right? So the budgets in the series are way less than it would cost to run, obviously, Pinty's. Way less than 1/10 of what it would cost to run Pinty's. So, we look at it that way, that we can use it as a stepping stone, especially with the variety of tracks we go to.
Well, that's a great topic right there, Mark. Talk about some of the tracks you're going to be visiting in 2022 and talk about what you guys look for as a series on places you want to go and showcase your product.
There was a lot of demand out there for a series this year. We talked to a lot of different tracks. This year we decided we're going to go do some dirt racing at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway. That place is phenomenal, what they've done down there. It's going to be pretty exciting to see our cars there. Should be a very interesting show. Matter of fact, we're going to hold our season finale there, so that should be interesting. We're going back to Full Throttle Speedway this year. That place is something else to see a race at. So tight, lots of contact, lots of fiberglass work afterwards. Our usual stops at Flamborough this year we're going to have. We're going back to Sunset this year. We haven't been to Sunset in a few years, and of course we're waiting, just itching to get on that new surface at Delaware for a couple shows there this year to see how that goes.
Mark, let's talk about car counts. What's your anticipated car count for this year? How's the registration process, and at least the response been for who's coming back?
Well, we were kind of behind the 8 ball when we started. We kind of took this over late. So the car count is definitely up from over what we were last year, which was pretty low sometimes. Some events we have this year, we probably will have super stocks running with us, the odd super stock, just to top up the car count a little bit. And those guys are always more than welcome when they run with us, right? So, and a matter of fact, they've shown us how to run a few times. So the car count is definitely looking up this year. The interest is definitely up since we've taken over and got a schedule out. So we're seeing lots of interest come our way.
What's the advantage, Mark, of the fiberglass body compared to what we might see with the APC series or even the super stocks?
As far as the fiberglass bodies go, they're pretty readily available. There are I know our car, for instance, we ran an older body up until this year where we switched to a new Camaro, but they're pretty readily available. They're easy to work with for the most part. It just works out good for the racers, and they're a nice look too, right? So
now, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're still made in Ontario, right?
Yes, Performance Fiberglass, actually, who just re-upped today, is another contingency sponsor with us. Still building them. They're still available through them, whatever you need. Most of them are the same as, like, our Camaro is the same as a Pinty's Camaro. It's the exact same body. So it's readily available through them.
That's a big thing, Adam, because, I can tell you we've got super stock teams that have bought bodies through GSR, and I ordered that at the start of November, and they're still waiting on their body. So the fact that it's made, down the 401 here is amazing.
And they're not cheap, right?
No,
but if
over $3,000, I believe, right now is the going rate for a complete body.
Say that again, Mark, how much?
Just over $3,000 from Performance Fiberglass. Don't quote me on that. I didn't pay the bill on it, but I believe that's what it was.
If I owned a fiberglass company and you had a race series going to Full Throttle, Flamborough, and a dirt track, I am also sponsoring your series. That's a good investment.
Yeah, you see some dollar signs there.
Mark, what's a car gonna cost? Okay, so what's a car worth, and are there cars out there for sale? Like, if 20 guys came and wanted to fill your field and they had the money, are the cars around, and what do they cost?
There are cars available out there. There's lots of rollers. There's a lot of cast car cars that are sitting in barns and garages right now that haven't been run in years. Old Pinty's cars, the chassis for our series. That's what it is. And there's tons of them out there. I know there's been some that have been available from anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000, depending on what you want on them and age and stuff like that. But I know there's some old Pinty's cars out there right now that are for sale that guys would want.
And
What are they
I'll
worth?
tell you one thing.
Sorry, Adam. I'm just trying to figure out what's a roller worth these days.
Oh, a roller worth. I don't think anybody's building any new ones for the series right now, but you could go get a Pinty Series chassis for our series. You could buy one, I'm sure. Um, but guys I know have been paying up to $10,000 for a roller. Then there's guys who've also picked up as cheap as $4,000 to $5,000. Right? They still got to be gone through because they've been sitting there a while, but they work.
One thing I do like about the series, Clinton, is the races are longer distance, right? So that's been one, and that's something people have to get used to running on dirt is track time. With the OSS, I do like that the races are a little bit longer. I think typically at Flamborough, with a solid car count, you're running 100 lap features. I can't say that they're all 100 lap features, but you do get some seat time in them.
Yeah, that's what we've always, the longer races attracts more of more fans than the short little, like more of a, what you'd call a sprint race, like 25 laps and it's done. There's more strategy involved in it, right? It's not just pedal to the floor and, hopefully you're still in one piece by the end of 25 laps. You gotta save your stuff a little bit, especially the tire we run on. You definitely got to conserve stuff.
Mark, what's the biggest thing the series been working on this year to kind of get a stronger foothold in a market that's been tightening up? I mean, some of the competitors, got a big boost this year. Quick Superstock series. You guys were kind of fighting for more dates and stuff. What can you guys do to keep pushing the series in the right direction?
Well, we're trying to get it out there more on social media that the series, a lot of people forget the series exists, up until the last couple of years. COVID really kicked everything. And then now that with the new management team, I think we got all guys that are racers, all been around racing forever. I've been around it since I was born at Cayuga Speedway with my dad when he crewed for Jack Monahan back in the day. We got Mike Herniak on board. We got Sean Mangin on board as consultants. They both raced CASCAR back in the day. We got Mauricio Cochi now as our general manager. He was around racing forever. Then you got Adam Martin too, who's our tech director. He former racer too, who just a couple of years ago quit racing and now he's running tech for us. So, between that, we've really built a lot of interest around the series. And now I think get it more out there on social media, get it more in people's minds. Thank you guys for having us on to help with that. And I think it's just we see interest in the series is shooting right up. So that's what we're banking on.
And I guess we can close with a question from one of our viewers. He's wondering what the payouts are like. So what's it pay to win? What's it pay to start one of the OSS races?
Right now, the payouts are actually available. If you go to our OSS page, they're posted right on there. $1,000 to win. Plus, we're working on other contingency stuff that'll also be thrown in there to win. So it's looking like it could be $1,300, $1,400, but maybe by the time you add in product and stuff that they're padded, sit on the pole, win the race. It's possible to make a decent amount of money at it. To start, I don't quote me on this. I forget exactly what I believe it was $275 or $250 to start. Then up from there, obviously, which is up slightly from last year as far as winning in that.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Yeah.
Steve Shaw, one of our other viewers from the Southern Ontario Motor Speedway, is asking, do you know anything about the testing schedule for the dirt race?
Hopefully, I think it will. Us as our team, I think we'll be hitting open testing early in the year when Southern Ontario Motor Speedway is open for it. It'll probably just be through the track. We still have to determine that with them exactly what we'll be doing, but I'm sure that's what it'll be. Yeah, because we definitely got to get out there. We got guys that have never even seen a dirt track before, so this should be interesting.
Tell them to watch Cars the movie before they go out there. Hudson Hornet's going to teach them all they need to know.
That's what my son tells me.
Mark, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Again, we'll see you at the races. That's the neat thing about racing in Ontario is we kind of follow everybody, right, Clinton? Not much happens in Ontario and racing that you don't all find out about and hear about through the grapevine. So good luck on a safe and successful season, Mark.
Okay, thanks a lot, Clinton and Adam, for having us on. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Good luck. We'll be seeing them cross our paths this summer out at the tracks. And as we know, Cam Harris has got involved with them. He's telling us to check out the Ontario Sportsman Series on Facebook. The Ontario Sportsman Series has a page. Just that, ontariosportsmanseries.ca.
I'll tell you one thing they did, Clinton, that I think is right on the money. They created something out of necessity because there were so many cars kicking around. He's right. You can buy a roller quite reasonably because there's nothing else you can do with these race cars.
I agree. And, the strength of a lot of the series, be it dirt, modifieds, or late models, if you have a ladder system for parts, and where you have the top guys are always going to buy new, that'll trickle down to the lower guys. You get a bit of transaction there and you get a bit of a commerce going between the levels of teams. And that's how you keep a division strong. And it takes a lot of cars and a lot of, moving things around, but eventually it gets there. And I think this helps with the Pinty series because the cars, bodies, everything's pretty much identical. And I think the other thing that benefits this is that the Pinty's technically hasn't gone much where. Hasn't hasn't really gone anywhere in 20 years. So if you pull a car out of the barn from 10 years ago, it's still good. Yeah. Let's jump into our Burger Barn video of the week. Rolex 24. Adam, did you catch much of that at all this weekend?
None of it.
Oh yeah, you were busy working. Show that video, Spencer. We got some spy video from the Burger Barn Vintage Modified Garage. And this is Adam. Safety first. Point the grinder away from
glasses on.
Point the grinder away from the boys. That's rule number 1.
So yeah, we kind of had to bust the foot box out of the car. One of the drivers has big fat feet and they wouldn't fit in there.
Nice one. So while you were doing that, I tried to catch the Rolex 24. And oh my goodness, I got my father with me, right? So trying to explain to him why there's 5 different classes and what they all mean and what's LMP3 versus LMP2. And I'm just like, just watch it a little bit, okay? So you go to bed, you get the next day, another 6 hours of great coverage. But at the end, Adam, it comes down in the GTD class, I think it was, 2 Porsches racing like they were NASCARs on a road course. The finish was unbelievable. Comes down to this. Play it, Spencer. Uh-oh. Lost it.
I thought the clip would be longer.
The Porsches are side by side. Gemini's got a shot on the inside. The fat Porsche's back out in front. What an awesome battle. Does he have to hang on for half a lap or 1.5 laps? Where's the overall leader? If they get by these 2 Porsches, that could finish their race a little bit earlier. Vantor back on the attack. He nails him again. Can he do the crossover down here in 6? Hold this out.
Whoa, what?
Position, back off early. Crossover.
That commentator doesn't have a British or a South African accent. How can he possibly be calling a road course race?
Stops that move from the 2 car.
Is it Dale Jr.?
They haven't taken the white flag yet.
Might have been. Is that who it was?
Dale's
a pretty good commentator.
Could he have imagined what's going on?
Okay, so this is the overall leader right behind them, Adam.
For Meyer Shank Racing, the new team.
Helio Castroneves coming. Now watch these guys. Last lap. After 24 hours. And that was Helio Castroneves, the winner, who had to take evasive action.
This is it for Helio Castroneves and Meyer Shank.
Good for them, though. They're racing for position, man.
Yeah, it was wild, though. And if you watched the 5 minutes before that, they went at it for like 3 laps like that. I thought they were going to knock their own doors off the whole time, but what a great finish. The Rolex 24 never lets us down anyway. Some great racing. And I love it because I'm a Nighthawk, right? So 3, 4 in the morning, I can't sleep. I'm up there watching the racing all the night, and it's current. Go ahead.
And something that Spencer shared with us, and this idea I think was stolen from me because I remember saying last year, if I was going to be a spotter at Daytona, give me a portable shitter, take the front door off, and set it up there on top of the tower. That's what I want to spot from. If I'm going to spot, I want a porta-john pointed towards the racetrack. And look, someone scooped my idea. Spencer, you got it? What kind of horse shit is that? Who wants a porta-john that you can see through the sides of?
Well, look at that. Those are all the spotters on the roof at Daytona. They have to tie all their tents down. Remember we took a tent on top of the roof in NASCAR this summer
Yeah, it didn't look
in
like that. Though.
Montreal,
What a come
and
on! How
we're getting paged. Can you guys report to the roof? The camera guys holding your tent down.
I hope there were real spotters, like further down the roof, that were pointing and laughing at those people wrapped in porta-johns. Like it was a porta-john without the poop. That's what they are. Stand proud.
Cam reminds
I'm
me
not impressed.
that battle went on for hours. Some great action for sure. Let's look at our G-Force marketing materials. These have been updated. Send a message out to us if you're interested in picking these up. It just shows some of the demographics for our sprint car teams and everybody who's going to be racing with us this summer. If you want to help with some marketing stuff and you know G-Force is going to be coming to cover the action at some of your races, these are a couple of pages we can show that show our demographics. Go back to the last one, Spencer, if you can, and just shows some of the, a little bit of a page about G-Force and what we can do to help your sponsor. So hopefully you can add that to your promo pack, and we'll be getting those up on our Facebook page for you to download here shortly. So hopefully that helps.
That's good.
Yeah, Greg always does a good job. I'm sure the copy's good that you wrote, but I didn't read it, just like you never look at anything we do, so it's all good.
I didn't read it either.
I thought you wrote it though, didn't you?
I
did. Speaking of Southern Ontario Motor Speedway, they had their first race in 22. Rodney Rutherford. Wow, Adam, this is going to be a story. A hot story already is the amount of enduros and cash being paid this summer. Rodney Rutherford could make more money racing enduros this summer than a late model guy who wins 5 championships in a row could make.
Yep.
And he's off to a good start. Picked up the win
And
at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway at Enduro this weekend.
the beautiful thing about the kind of racing Rodney does, they went to fire the race car and it wouldn't start. So what do? Fix it, Clint?
No, you get another one.
No, move on to the next one. See if it starts. That's exactly what he did. So they started building it about 6 o'clock the night before, got it done, went down there and cashing checks already.
That's awesome. Let's jump over to the pavement. NASCAR coming up this weekend. The Clash is this weekend, Adam. Well, I thought I had a lot of comments, but I don't really know what to say about it. It's going to be a spectacle, but I'm trying to think about the most politically correct way to say this. Are they going to make fans, or are they going to alienate fans with what they're trying to do there? So it's right in LA, which is awesome. The track, any race fans know what kind of the racing's going to be. It's going to be an exhibition. It's going to be a lot of tempers flaring, if anybody really even cares. I don't know. It could go so many ways. It's going to be a bump and grind race. You'd think they'd be encouraging them to go put on a show. If they didn't want that kind of race, they would never have built the track the way they have inside the stadium that tight. But, they're having an Ice Cube concert and a DJ performing under cautions. Put that up, Spencer. I showed you the screenshot today coming from Twitter. The Busch Light Clash will be a celebration on and off the track. That's why we're bringing DJ Ski to the LA Coliseum, and you're invited. So the way I read it is during cautions, they're going to have a DJ playing dance music. Thoughts on that, Adam? I understand they're trying to bring in new fans, but are they going to alienate the core fans? Because let's face it, the core NASCAR fans, I think I can safely bet my career that the majority of hardcore NASCAR fans are not Ice Cube fans and are not appreciative of DJ type music at a race. Does that make sense?
Yes, but historically, the core NASCAR fans are in old folks' homes. They're gone. That day is gone. The people who traveled in the 80s, Clinton, to follow, the people who could afford to go to all these races in the 80s. And I remember going to the tracks right around the turn of the millennium. And Winnebago, all these coach companies rented huge spaces for people that bought these super expensive buses because they go from track to track, like millions and millions of dollars being spent. Clinton, those people are not just senior citizens now. Those people can't go to the races, right? Like that's how generational this has become. So here we are. We were young at that time. We're middle aged now, almost to the point where we could afford to do these things like those people could in the 80s and 90s. So we're talking about people 30 years ago. 30 years from now, when I'm in my mid 70s and you're like 80 something, we don't matter anymore. That's just how it is. So it's a
You're
long
right.
way to go to make my point. Uh, Bring a DJ, bring something, do what you've got to do, make it an event. When the Ringling Brothers used to come to town, they didn't go to a racetrack 30 miles out of the city. They pitched their tent in the biggest parking lot they could in the middle of town, and you went. They came to you, and you went and spent your money. That's what NASCAR is doing. So win, lose, or draw, I applaud what they're doing. If they go to other towns, come to Toronto, race through the streets. That is where it's at. People will commit to going to that. Forget about what used to happen to make things successful, because these venues don't have more than 100,000 seats anymore like they used to. Gone are the days where you'd bring in 300,000 people to a weekend event between camping and all the grandstands there were and all the different ways there were to enjoy the race. Get to these urban centers if that's what the sport needs. I'm still going to stick around at our grassroots events, and I'm going to love me some short track racing. You and I have discussed, well, I like to think that I had already discovered it, but in the last few years, you've started to realize how much fun a weekend at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park can be, right? Like
Oh yeah.
things that we would not have done a while ago. So it is an ever changing sport. So I applaud them for doing that. If you sit there and enjoy the show at the Coliseum, for what it is, the spectacle it is, you're probably going to enjoy yourself. If you sit there and think, well, this isn't as good as Bristol the night Dale Earnhardt spun out Terry Labonte, which I'll remind you, they're still using that same freaking replay,
Yeah.
right? Like they're still using that replay all these years later. If you're living in the 80s and the 90s, no, it's not going to compare because that's not how life works.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I know from my own experience when you and I started doing lacrosse games, and we went to a National Lacrosse League, and they played music through the whole play. Now, if you grew up on baseball, football, or hockey like we did, when they dropped the puck or the kickoff started, the music was quickly faded out, and we went into the game, right? And all you heard were the sights and sounds. And when you hear the music going on throughout the whole thing, it's crazy when you go to a basketball game or a National Lacrosse League game. But hey, it does happen. We'll see how it works this weekend at Coliseum. And I do agree, Adam. Going bringing your circus to town is a great analogy. I think you hit the nail on the head there with that one. Let us know what you guys think
Did,
about the Clash. I know everybody working. I as a football fan, am super pumped that they've laid out the schedule the way they have. So we have playoffs last week, Clash this week, Super Bowl the week after, Daytona after that. It's beautiful, beautiful
it's
month of
perfect.
Sundays coming up.
Yeah, one thing I'm going to do this year that I don't think I did last year. If I did, I sucked so bad I was out of it. Did you have a chance to read that pool that I sent you, the NASCAR pool?
I did.
It's intriguing, right? So if you happen to be interested, it's a friend of ours, friend of mine, Ding DeLue, Jeremy DeLue, an old friend of mine. Ding's his dad runs this pool where you have to pick 36 different drivers, one for each points race this season. You can't pick the same driver twice. It's a pretty neat concept. But pools and that sort of thing, they do keep me engaged. They keep me interested. So maybe that's what I need to do to renew my interest each and every weekend.
It's funny you say that because I hang around at T-Max Place and they had a pool there with 20 of us in it last year. And I found myself totally engaged in the races and making sure we were there. I mean, I remember the one night we were getting set up at Humberstone and we were sitting around having a barbecue before we went on the air around 5 o'clock. And I just screamed out of the middle, "Yeah, I won the pool." And you look at me like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, that was $360 because Larson just won. That was awesome. So, no, we had a good time doing it. And I do. It's a good way to get engaged. That's for sure. Moving on. The stuff we see on Facebook and social media. This was another thing that came out this week, Adam. A super fan in Elk Grove, California, the home of Larson and Brad Sweet, put this up on his lawn as you're rolling in. If the city's not going to honor the champions, he put them up and did himself. I think that's super cool. I mean, how cool it would be if we had, when you're entering Hagersville up Highway 6, if it said now entering the home of 13-time champion Dave Bailey, Brewster Baker, with a big billboard like that. I think it'd be awesome. So we encourage everybody, if you live on the outskirts of your town, honor your local track champion with a billboard. It'd be awesome, wouldn't you say? And speaking of Dave Bailey, since we had a fairly solid pavement show tonight, I did reach out to Dave, and he said he was tired tonight, but he'd love to come on in the next couple weeks. So any questions you guys have for Dave Bailey, we plan on getting him on here in coming weeks to talk
what's
about.
What's the Chaz doing?
I don't know. I reached out to the Chaz. I told him, he said, I'll read you the messages. I said, where are you at tonight? He said, still up north, getting ready to go to Florida, as well as his race in Bristol. He said, you got any hot topics tonight? Maybe the trucker convoy. I hear it's nuts in Canada. I said, join us in 30 to talk Florida if you want, but no politics. That's all we need is Chaz going off about the truckers here for an hour.
Yeah, that's... Now, I do know people that went to Ottawa on the weekend.
Yep.
Had a good time.
Yeah, JT Miller messaged me today, Adam. He did some plumbing work at one of the houses I'm fixing. He said he was down there, and nothing but love for everybody down there. So, Spencer, I just sent you a picture from Jeremy Hughes. Said, building mini stocks, watching race rivals. That's cool, man. We appreciate you hanging out with us. That's kind of what you've always said, Adam. You know, that's what we want to be, whether we're streaming it Friday nights at Ush Weekend and have them watching on this, they get ready to go racing Saturday or Sunday, or hanging out with us here on a Tuesday, getting ready in the off season. That's why we all do this. And there's a picture of Jeremy's shop.
Nice. Our viewers came through last week because both guests tonight were on referrals. So let's put this to the test again for next week, because that's, if you have any hot tips, if you have any gossip that you want to see if it's truth or rumor, send us a note. We'll look into it. We'll dig into things. We're pretty lucky for the most part. People take our calls. So if we call, they might tell us, no, we can't talk about it, or yeah, here's what's going on. So if there's something you want to see or talk about, or just listen to us talk about, if you let us know, we can do it. We're pretty open.
One thing that squeaked through last week and didn't get a lot of real press, and nobody really latched onto it, I did get a few messages, and I'm wearing my Mr. Free shirt tonight, is that Stuart Friesen will be at our big race. He's the first name to be announced for the Pinty's 100, driving his car for Scott Steckley Racing, which is going to be awesome to have Stuart there. And we've also worked out a deal to get him to try to go after the 17th annual Canadian Sprint Car Nationals, which will be Monday, August 15th, the night before the Pinty's 100. So come out and see Stuart Friesen race 360 sprint cars for 2 nights and the Pinty's 100, Adam. And, we are working on some other names. Obviously, we are doing our best to get Larson with the association we have with Glenn, as long as the schedules work out, but no guarantees there. I am hearing some other NASCAR stars will be coming down, but Stuart is the first one to be announced. Tickets are not on sale or up for renewal just yet. We'll let you know when that happens. But with things being shut down this week, we're not really in a huge hurry to take everybody's money and sit on it. So we'll be making a plan here in the next little bit. Our weekend schedule comes out Friday. That was another question that was in the comments earlier tonight.
Like Friday this week, or just any Friday?
No, Friday this week. It's all done. It's all done.
Right on.
So we're excited there. Lots of extra payouts coming from Ush Weekend. It's going to be awesome. Oral Station Motor Circuit slipped through the radar. Adam, do you know much about that?
No.
They're building a new, or attempting to build a new raceway in Oral Station, which is over by kind of Oshawa way, I think.
Oral Station, I thought that was where Barrie Speedway was.
Yeah, it could be up that way. I'm out of it, but yes. So we need to look into that. I think that's an interesting topic there. Couple of messages we've had, Adam. The Brian's Racing auction has been postponed. They wanted to hold off on that. So we'll bring you more news on that. I know we got a couple messages asking about the Brian's Racing auction that we were promoting back before the winter break. And
that Richard just said same exit Barrie Speedway was. So you're up north of Barrie.
Cool.
Yeah, and the Brian's auction, something is going to happen. They just want to make sure that they could really do it right. If they do something, they want it to be good. They want to do it right. There's people in the industry that want to see it done right. So they're going to step back and take another swing at it.
Let's talk about Tom Beals and his trailer repair deal. Tommy's been helping us out the last few weeks here. As we mentioned, whether it's wiring, bearings, whatever you need on your trailer, get over and see Tommy. He can get you fixed up. Give him a call or look him up on Facebook. It's Tom Beals, and they've got some deals on trailers still out there. You can give them a call there at that number, or you can also find them on email at tombeals1@hotmail.com, or call them a text 933-9220 as it shows there. Whether it's service for your single, dual, or triaxle trailer, brakes, wiring, whatever it is, they can fix you up. So check it out. Give Tommy a call. A couple of messages we've been dropping weekly. Go ahead, Adam. Hey,
did you watch
Spencer,
any of the?
Hold on, Adam. Spencer, do you have the pictures of the trailer ads that I sent you? Throw those up. One last thing just to fill out our show, Tom. Tom does have 2 of these for sale, Adam. $2,000. It's a Miska 2017 heavy-duty trailer to whether you want to grab a load of stone or soil or take your golf cart to the races. Buy now and receive free maintenance service on these trailers. He's got 2 of them left for only $2,000. So check that out. Give Tommy a call. Sorry, Adam, go ahead.
Nice. Did you catch any of the indoor action from Atlantic City on the weekend?
I did catch a lot of that. I gotta wonder, is it fun to race that? It's so tight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Clint, I'll tell you what. I was mediocre at best racing indoors at Niagara Falls, but when I got a little bit, like at best, when I got to that mediocre point, I went back to my outdoor season the next spring and was sharp as a tack. Like, it's so good for your reflexes. It's different racing for sure, but it's pretty cool. You know what I did notice, and I don't know if you did. Did you notice people don't get very upset when they crash?
Oh yeah, well, it's a given there.
Yeah, you didn't see a lot of temper tantrums. You saw people get out of their car when things didn't go their way. Like, there were some people that were a little dejected, but it's just the nature of the racing, and I think people are appreciative that they got something they can do in the winter time. And I thought it was a good show. I wasn't crazy about the announcing, but I thought it was a good show.
Did you see what Fran just wrote? Right Choice Auto and Leisure, brand new Merrittville Sportsman division sponsor.
Oh,
Ring a bell
nice.
with you, Adam?
Yeah, isn't that Seaburns?
Yep.
They have a shit ton.
Cool. They what?
That's all their radio ads. We've got a shit ton, but they bleep out there.
I don't listen to the radio, so I didn't hear it. Okay.
Listen to 91.7.
Thanks for filling me in on that. I listen to Sirius. Canadian Dirt Racing Academy, don't forget you can sign up for those. Just flash those up on the screen, Spencer. Still room available for the Canadian Dirt Racing Academy featuring Jordan Poirier and Kevin Lovey's April 23rd and 24th. And the week before, it'll be the Modifieds and Sportsman featuring Matt Williamson and Randy Williamson, which is going to be cool stuff. Lots of track time to be had there. Even if you pick up a lesson or two or don't need it, the track time is worth it. If you just had the amount of track time alone, you could easily spend what you're spending to go to school. So cool there. That takes us to one more item on the show, Adam. And I'll reiterate what you said. If anybody wants to hear us talk to somebody or follow down the story, let us know. As Adam mentioned, we can usually get to the bottom of most of the things. Next week, we do expect Luke Ramsey from APC to come on and talk about what's going to happen with that series and, all the good things happening APC as we get ready for the 2022 season. And Adam, Garrett Tiemersma, vlog number 6
Garrett
is here.
Tiemersma.
I always say it wrong. Hey, you're such a picky bastard. Garrett T. I'm going to call him Garrett T. That's it. I'm just not saying it ever again.
GT in the way freight number 17.
There you go. All right. Garrett, here's your video. Garrett does a great job on this vlog, taking us through what it goes through to prepare a quick super stock in the off season. Last time we were looking at interior. Let's see what Garrett has for us tonight. Thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks Spencer for being such a great producer as always, and everybody for hanging out. We'll talk to you soon. Garrett, take it away.
Back to the vlog. It's been a couple weeks, but a lot of stuff has been going on at Teamers of Motorsports, and a lot of stuff has actually been getting done without me here. So we're here to update you guys today, and let's get into the video. Well, now that we're getting into the vlog, I figured I would give you guys a little bit of an update about what's been going on here at Teamers of Motorsports. So, as you guys can see, the majority of the rear of the body is all laid out on the car. A lot of this has been happening without me here in the shop because I've been busy at college with some courses and just haven't been able to get back to the shop. But crew chief's been hard at work. Steve's been going at it with moving the roof, moving some quarter panels, and today we're here, I guess, to show you a little bit about what goes behind the thought of mounting a body for a quick super stock, because it's a long process to get the car body on the car looking nice with all the wheels covered properly. Everything is sealed off, the skirts are sealed to the ground, but it's a long process, and yeah, let's start from the beginning. So with our car, last year's body of our Mustang, the quarter panels were actually the last year of them being legal with our rule regulations. So this season, our body was technically going to be illegal, so we've had to convert the body to a legal one, change our quarter panels. We're gonna have to change the doors a little bit, but our nose and our fenders are all gonna be the same. It'll be really hard to notice the difference, honestly, from the stands, but as a driver and a builder, I notice it right away. So it starts with the quarter panels. We have different quarter panels this year that are a little bit skinnier along the top. There's some separation going on with the bodies, and I think it's a good thing. So hey, gotta get the work done, right? So part of the process with aligning a quarter panel properly is making sure that the roof is aligned properly as well. In order to align the roof properly with these quarter panels to ensure they cover the wheels, we had to move our entire roof deck over 3 inches this way. So originally the roof started over here. Now this year we're going to have to move it over to the right to compensate for the skinnier quarter panels, so that way we can get proper wheel coverage on our tires. And this is a long process that started with taking out the windshield and undoing the dash. So you can see that everything has been drilled out. None of the rivets of the fasteners are holding it together because we had to pull the dash over this way, so that way when we put the quarter panels on, they align with the tires. Now this also affects doors as well as fenders, but it definitely is going to throw a little bit of a wrench in our plans. And what we're seeing now with the body is just the start of probably a 2-week, 3-week process of making sure that everything is right and properly mounting the body. So the front end and the nose and the fenders are all off of the car right now because we need to make the doors before we can align the fenders. Now that the roof has been settled on the car properly, it's a long process, and we're only a few days in, and it's going to be probably the next couple of videos, hopefully. But to show you a little bit of what's actually going on our car, here is our old Mustang nose cone with our old air box that goes to the radiator, our air dam that helps cool the engine. Old fenders, new nose. There's lots of body panels laying around here at Teamers of Motorsports, but lots of work to be done, lots of work continuing here. A lot of thought goes into this. It's not just about aligning the flanges properly and screwing it together, because we also have to change the design of our front bumper every year to fit the nose for the proper height. As much as we would love to reuse this old bumper that we used in 2021, it may not fit perfect to how our nose sits now. Now that we're putting a new body on, we're gonna put a new bumper on and make all that old stuff our spare stuff. So I know this is a little bit of a different video. It's not so much me completing work or finishing a time lapse, but we have to think about all those little things about maybe we want to save a little bit of weight by using lightweight brackets and supports, but it all adds up in the end to help the performance and helps the body look good for all of our great sponsors. So yeah, just a lot of work going on at Teamers of Motorsports, and lots of work is being done. I'll do my best to get some time-lapse footage of us putting the body together. It's just hard because sometimes work gets done when I'm not here, and sometimes only work gets done while we're here, and we can't really focus on getting the video because we're too focused on getting things done. But it's starting to come together, and I'm getting really excited. You know, we're getting close to February. It's almost time because February leads to March, and then March leads to testing. So the car is coming together. We still have the engine here. It's going to be going on the dyno at Speedy Owl machine. Just wanted to give you guys an update. So stay tuned with us on all of our social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you know it. Thanks for watching the video, guys. We'll see you next time.